Greetings and welcome to the 35th episode of Retro Rant. For this one, we will be taking a look at Millenium 2.2 for the Commodore Amiga, a strategy game released in 1989 by Electric Dreams, which also had versions for DOS and Atari ST. This is a game that I had back in the day, but I was quite underwhelmed by its slow pace and my young, overactive brain didn't give it much notice. Although I could see that it was a good game, I just never made time for it. But it's never too late, so here we are after 30 years to see if it's any good or not. It is the year 2200 and mankind has successfully colonized space, well, at least Mars and Moon. The bad news is that an asteroid has collided with Earth, rendering it uninhabitable. So if you make any vacation plans for 2200, you had better reschedule. As is the usual order of things with humanity, there is dispute. The Martian colony has called dibs on Earth, and you are warned that if you dare move outside your own colony, well, it's a casus belli. The graphics of Millennium are quite good for 1989. Not only do they get the job done, but they also create a very atmospheric setting which helps to immerse the player even more in the world of Millennium 2.2. There are also some polygon graphics in the combat sequences, but these are a bit underwhelming. The game has only one music track, which is a delicious rendition of Mahler's Adagietto from his glorious Fifth Symphony by David Whittaker. And what better way to introduce a space-themed movie or game than with these genius Austro-German late romantics such as Mahler and Richard Strauss. Unfortunately, there is no in-game music, but there are some ambient drones which I believe work very well for the overall atmosphere of the game. The sound effects are generic, but they get the job done. The control system of Millennium is quite intuitive, so you don't need to read a 300-page manual to understand and enjoy the game. It actually consists of several spreadsheets dealing with your resources, your research, your energy, and so on. This might sound dry and boring, but Millennium manages to keep a nice balance between depth and simplicity, and when you start to make your choices and see them at work, you are sure to be hooked for quite a few hours. Resources and energy are key to beating the game, so you have to explore space so that you can obtain the resources necessary to design more stuff, as is common in strategy games. Everything becomes second nature after a while, even though some hotspots are a bit small and I ended up exiting the screen. The first and worst problem of this game lies in the combat action sequences, where the control is quite crappy. And although the combat is ridiculously easy, it gets very repetitive and tedious after a while. Thankfully, after a certain point you get the orbital lasers, so you don't have to worry about the Martian lamers anymore. Or do you? Even though Millennium could be categorized as a real-time strategy game, time passes very slowly and you will find yourself with your finger stuck to the mouse button for minutes on end, clicking on the button that advances to the next day. This is the second negative thing about Millennium. It is a game that consists of long periods of waiting and grinding. Now, I get it that this thing can be relaxing for some people, I also sometimes feel that way when I am in the right mindset, but most of the time I just think to myself, get on with it. The storyline of Millennium, although quite cliche, is great in my opinion and managed to get me absolutely immersed in its universe, as well as motivated to teach these Martians a lesson while reclaiming humanity's homeland. The various obstacles in your way only serve to increase your determination as well as spice up the gameplay. The downside is that everything is quite linear, so if you know what's coming next and which places hold which resources, you will be able to storm your way through this game, which is also quite easy to start with. And since everything is predetermined, the replayability factor is quite low. Overall, Millennium 2.2 is a very good strategy game which has some minor flaws that keep it from being one of the Amiga's great titles. If you like slow-paced management games, I cannot recommend this enough. I am sure to dive head-on into Deuteros, which is Millennium's sequel first chance I get. So that's it for now, and I'll see you next time.